BTC. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we are doing another Simple Still stream. Also, I just want to preface before I start talking too much. I want to ask, is the mic okay? I've been trying to get it to sound good. Hopefully, it's not blasting the speakers or anything like that. But regardless, welcome back to another stream. We are, let me make sure I refresh the page to make sure prices are right. We are in, kind of fell a bit below. I think I talked about it on Saturday anyway, when we were on stream. I believe it was Saturday anyway. A little quiet. We'll turn it up. Okay. Is that too loud? I have a feeling that's a bit too loud. Yes, that's probably too loud. Okay, if I do this. Alright. There we go. Hold on. Alright. I'm going to leave it like that. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. Hopefully, it's not too loud now. Do tell me if it is. But anyway, markets, they're shaky waters right now. I think already, if you want to Saturday stream, you'll see what I kind of talked about then, but we're going to go over that again this stream and then just kind of see where we're going to go and if we've done anything. But from what I'm looking at the prices right now, again, since Saturday, we have not really had that much time. I think I made some wages of what the price is going to do, coming to the week, so we'll see how that's progressing. But as I'm looking at the prices right now, it's not looking like we've done too much in terms of moving how I expect us to, or not expect us, but how I wager we move. BNB's gone down though. I think I said that. I guess I'll look at that again. Solana's a bit down as well. I can't remember what I said about that, so we'll get into that as well. And yeah, I guess we'll just get into the general market. Bitcoin's up over the pretty much every single time frame, which is nice to see. But you can see, obviously, we've just turned to the next hour, so nothing's really moving. Not too much surprise there. But over the 24 hours, well, we're seeing, not really too much movement in the Bitcoins or anything of the sort. Maybe, occasionally at the most 1%. Here and there. BNB's down there, obviously, 24 hour. Obviously, coming from about $700 to now $645, $646 now. So we'll get into that. If you do, but before we do, again, if you do have any coins you want me to cover or anything you want me to ask at all, please do let me know. Do say it in the chat, and I will answer your questions or do some TA. But additionally, the last 30 minutes of the stream, we're going to be looking at CRONOS coins. So we're going to go on to something like Dex Screener. Obviously, if they are on Trainer View, then we'll obviously use that. But we're going to do some, but more of a primitive TA. But we are going to be doing, covering some coins which are on CRONOS, because not really many people doing that, and I think it's starting to ramp up a bit in terms of popularity. So I think if we get onto it now, start doing some TA on those coins, I think we'll have a good time. But other than that, I think I'm just going to get into the charts. I don't really think much more to talk about. If you want to check out, if I refer to anything like links or anywhere to go, then the links are probably in the description, so do check that out as well, if I do mention that throughout the stream. Regardless, I'm going to move on to the charts now. So this is what we currently have. Now, and this is the thing, I have occasional drawings here and there, which I don't really remember what exactly I was drawing about, but nonetheless, we're going to get into it. So we came from the high point, already talked about, we had a double top. We also formed this really nice looking order block, which we've been respecting. Or, we haven't really come back to it, but you can see how even these areas are here, and the bounce here is. It is, perfect here. And lo and behold, the midpoint of it is on this line, which we've had forever now. I see this quite often when we have a big order block or something on a higher time frame, which is respected really accurately. We may occasionally form smaller order blocks on the lower time frames, which have aspects of them which respect multiple order blocks throughout. So you can see the top line roughly comes to this breakout block we've had for ages. The midpoint of it comes to the latter or the lower point of this, I believe, daily order block we have on this big one. So it's basically a confirmation that this order block we have is a good order block. To me anyway, it is. So, double top, whatever. I'm going to delete some of these messy areas. But we did have the double top, which we, obviously surpassing the neckline, as you will, as they say, whatever, I don't know. Neckline here, this lower point, aka this order block was the neckline. So basically meant we're going to come below this order block. Lo and behold, we come to our next order block down here, which we've had, for a decent time now anyway, since, 22nd of May, roughly we've had this order block, and we came to it pretty exactly anyway. I drew this range. I believe this range, I think I was just generally talking about falling below different order blocks. I'm going to delete it. I'm not really, can't remember exactly. FMC on Wednesday and job CPI data this week. That's going to be huge. Okay, so yeah, that's going to definitely sway the market a bit. I don't think we're going to. Yeah, I don't think so either. We're really, really respecting this upper point of this order block anyway, which we've had for a while now. I don't really think there's anything really coming up unless we have really negative data or really, or data which in terms of causes the market to be negative heavily, then that's the only thing I really come to. I think I might have drawn that box because we talked on Saturday about that, about this week coming, or this week now, that this data was going to come out, and I think I basically said we're just going to come down to this lower point, and move along, I suppose. I think the thing I was talking about as well was basically coming towards this the bullish trend line we've had for a while now, which we've respected a ton. Well, not respected a ton, but you know, if I go to the daily, I think it's a bit more accurate on the daily. There we go. We zoom in. You see, you know, we bounced there, and then we had a tough time, and we never came back to it. So I think roughly soon, I think I said this, midpoint during the week. Mike's a little crackly. I think it's because it's peaking. Yeah, if I speak too close. I mean, if I put my headset on, let me just test to hear it, because sometimes it crackles. I don't know. I mean, I need to get the settings correct to make sure it's good. It sounds alright now. I think it's just me peaking it. So I mean, I guess I could turn down a bit. There we go. I'll just like to keep it a bit far away so I don't try and crackle it too much. But anyway, as I've said a couple times now on different streams, we've had this trend line which we haven't come back to yet, which I think it would be nice to come back to. You know, we really respected it here, coming along to it. We started to come towards it, but we didn't quite get there. I think, I mean, unless we've made a new one, you know, unless it comes along to that, I don't think so. I think my reckon was we crab a tiny bit towards the next trend line, or coming towards the trend line we've already had, you know, next to where we are right now. You know, we see we're crabbing right now, obviously a high concentration of movements here and there. Here you can see how shaky our money flow is, and that kind of indicates towards our trend. If we are in a kind of crab scenario, we're going to be kind of neutral for our money flow. We're not really going in a specific direction. And, you know, as you can see, since we started to crab, we've kind of been here and there, not really moving, you know, indicating we're kind of coming across. Obviously, this midpoint being like kind of the midpoint between, you know, being a premium discount and whatnot. If you do use that, that is. But I don't really, it's kind of just a line which was there. I don't really think we're respecting it too much. Incident until Wednesday, I think. I believe so as well. I think we're kind of, obviously we've kind of got a higher line here. I think we're going to be kind of doing this, expanding us out into being the total range. You can see we bounced off this line here, all kind of respected this area above here, and then we're kind of producing higher highs now, which is nice. So I think we are, you know, coming upwards towards the higher end of this range, which I believe we're in on a not macro, but on a higher level. Coming towards the, you know, 70,000 area. Basically, we're going to be bouncing off, continuing alongside, continuing along the days we are in, I suppose. It'd be nice if we came towards it on about Saturday-ish, but I don't think we are. I don't think we'll exactly touch it. It would be nice if we touched it and then came up, but, you know, I just think, especially with Wednesday, it does depend on what happens. To be fair, what could happen is if it's something like, I mean, depends on what the news is, you know, indecision and whatnot. If it's bad, like I said, and it'll be negative, I think, you know, we're going to be in this range crabbing, you know, Wednesday, Thursday time, we're going to be bouncing down probably to the lower end of our order block or our line, and then having, you know, swift movements upwards. Let me draw that properly. So I think it'll be something like this. Obviously, we have our range here, you know, bouncing. Obviously, Wednesday time, I don't know what exact time it would be our time, but, you know, probably wicking down. If it is bad, that is, I'm trying to imagine both scenarios. You know, kind of having a thing like this, you know, kind of coming up like that. Maybe let me draw. Promise if I draw it in one go, it'll remove everything if I remove it. But you know, kind of then coming up like that, you know, something like that, I suppose. I do think, you know, I don't think it's a necessity to touch this trend line. I just think it's a nice area to have, or nice price line to have as some sort of support kind of slope coming upwards. I don't think we necessarily have to touch it. I just think it'd be nice to touch it, continuing our trend line, or to respect our trend and, you know, kind of conform to a bullish trend as we're going on the coming days. I obviously that depends if it's negative or not. I think the general total, we could wick down to the line because of, you know, the whole news going on. Oh my god, everyone's gonna be really excited, this, that, the other, or, you know, the indecision is going to be sorted out. Everyone's going to be kind of expecting the market to either pump up or pump down really rapidly. So I think there might be a wick either way. Obviously, I think what normally would happen would be you wick in a certain direction, but you start to print in a different direction. So if it's negative news or bullish news, for example, you might wick down because as it's coming on, the word a specific word or two of negativity might cause the market to completely wick down, which I wouldn't be surprised there. We might wick down towards a support point, which I'd hope would be this trend line, then respecting the bullish trend continuing forward, and then printing above and higher, hopefully breaking above 70,000 again for Bitcoin. But as I drew on the higher time frame, we do still have a rough kind of mini trend line, higher up than where we are right now on the daily time frame trend line. You can see this area and this area, we still kind of have a trend line coming along, so we could be respecting that. But again, we do have the order block kind of keeping us up, so we didn't quite benefit of it until now. And then when we bounced off, we kind of bounced off it here, obviously coming towards the lower end of this order block anyway, so not really respecting it too much. But again, on the higher time frame, we would be respecting it more so than anything else. But I mean, let me delete this. Actually, I don't really want this. So going back to what I was talking about, I'm going to delete it. Even though it could happen, I'm going to delete it because, again, indecision and something where the market may move based on outside of price action and solely based off news is an unfortunate scenario for me anyway, because I can't really exactly tell you where I think we're going to be going more often than not. Again, I can't tell the future. Not financial advice. I need to swiftly move on to that actually as well. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a wizard with a crystal ball. Although I'm called Oracle, I don't have all the answers to everything in life. I can't tell where the market's going to go every single time. If anyone does claim that they can, 100% of the time, tell what the market's going to do, then, they've either I don't know, scammers, they know something no one else does, or just don't listen to them in general, Oh yeah, I'm just so conveniently covering the price with this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't even realize. Let me put that over there. There you go, the price on screen now, up there. Yeah, thank you for warning me. But anyway, like I said, I can't tell 100% of the time, and especially it makes it even harder for me. If we're moving, solely based on price action, I can analyze the price action and actually kind of wager my bets onto where we're moving. Then that is, I can more often than not tell where we're going to be going and actually give you an analysis and tell you which direction we're going. But when we have something coming up like news, it makes it really hard for anybody to tell where the market's going to be going, because when the market is going to be pumping up or down based on news, I can't really predict that, So in current scenario right now, we're kind of expanding upwards, kind of bouncing here and there. So I think we'll come towards 69,850 and then bounce down to 69,300 and kind of continue in this range we're in. Eventually, resolving ourselves about the afternoon of Tuesday, kind of coming along and bouncing in between these two order blocks in our range as we kind of crab towards our trend line. But that's going to be cut short on Wednesday time when all this news comes along. Rejected at 69.8. I agree completely. Or I'd bump that up to 68.5. This area you can see it's roughly about 68.5, bouncing off this line, coming down again. It'd be interesting though if we reversed it and used it as a support point or support line, and then kind of crabbed in here. I don't think there'd be anything which would cause that. I don't think we're, our momentum isn't below the 60 mark. We don't have incredible money flow coming in. We don't have anything in that terms, in terms of things to actually bump us up. I don't think that's going to happen. It'd be cool if we did. But I just think the current scenario for Bitcoin right now is we are going to be crabbing towards, these two ranges here and there. Okay, and I was told to change it, and it's changed, and now it's crackly, so I'm going to change it back now. Hold on. I'm changing everything back. Okay, I've changed it back. It is like this now. You know what I could do? I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in, because I think it started crackling last time, so give me a second. Alright, okay, it's back now. That might help, because I think it actually started crackling yesterday, and I unplugged it, plugged back in, and it was fine, so hopefully that's fixed it. If it's not, then, oh well, I'll fix it at the end of the stream. But yeah, like I said, 69,850, kind of bouncing off that line. I don't think we're going to, surge upwards for any reason, unless something big comes out, which I don't think so. continuing along towards this trend line, like I said. But Thursday, we'll cut that short. I think in Wednesday, like you said. So Wednesday time, that'll cut short. We'll either wick down to bounce off some sort of range, probably the bottom of this order block, 68,500, and start to rank back upwards again. Or if I continue this trend line like this, actually, to be fair, that's probably closer. To be fair, where we are right now, 68.20. But we could reverse it, Wednesday, aka being, isn't that quite convenient? Wednesday time, let's say it's the middle of Wednesday, whatever. It is actually roughly exactly where this midpoint is. So we could, if it is really positive, wick upwards and then, use it as support, aka the bottom of the order block we've had for ages now, coming upwards, having difficulty probably at the midpoint, depending on how positive New is. If we actually, we could surge upwards, coming upwards, hopefully, and this is what needs to happen, like I've always say, bounce off the midpoint and continue upwards, and then probably, continue onwards and not touch this bullish line. However, we would still be bullish anyway, if we, look on the macro side of things, on the daily, probably continuing alongside, if we have formed a new kind of trend here, we'd already be bouncing off it, as you can see. So there's two ways to look at it. We either come back towards the higher time frame bull line, or we formed a new mini one here. You see bounce here, and this technically now means it's a bounce. So coming in towards Wednesday, as we respect this line, let me angle it a bit better actually. Coming towards Wednesday time over here, coming back to kind of crowd and bounce off it and then come upwards. So we could have that sort of a scenario as well. Either way, I just want us to come above 70k. But even if we did come above and try and break this order block, we do need 70,229, whatever the exact price is, to be respected once we surge upwards towards, this higher end up here. Probably respecting this, this line here. You can see this was bounced off quite a couple times, so probably coming towards 70,726, bouncing off that, and then hopefully coming back down to the 70,000 and a quarter area, and then coming upwards. If we did that, and if we were in a certain scenario, we're actually coming upwards above this line now, which is nice. Always get that session. I have no idea why, but it's nice to see we are coming upwards towards this higher area now. Obviously, probably just a wick bouncing upwards. Obviously, we have had it here and here, probably wicking upwards here. But I mean, it'd be nice if we kind of reversed it and printed. But obviously, we've got 40 minutes. We're gonna come back down. But that's what I kind of think for Bitcoin. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's gonna be hard to say. I've tried to give where I think it would go if, in both ways, because we can't really say exactly what's gonna happen Wednesday time with the data. So we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen and go from there, I suppose. But I've tried to give my opinion on what's gonna happen if it was positive news or if it was negative news coming down or coming up for Bitcoin. So I think we'll move on, and we kind of need to keep that in mind as we look at all coins, basically, seeing what happens in the future. So what happened? So we were kind of in this. So Saturday time, we were basically here, coming back down, and obviously we had a big dump in the market coming down towards here, bouncing off the midpoint. Obviously, trying to wick down to a lower point. I mean, you could argue that we'd have to come to about 3,600 and then reverse, but I do talk about this quite often, that, when you have multiple wicks and then a big one, if you print slightly below it, you normally reverse and start to come upwards. So if we're in a crab, kind of a bit negative, as you can see, kind of coming down in this slight range here, if we do this and reverse, that means we should start to come upwards now and break above these areas. So probably coming towards the high point of here, kind of doing this, probably bouncing off midpoint, coming upwards, starting to form some sort of a mini bull kind of trend, higher lows here, coming upwards towards this higher end, and trying to probably using 3,800 as a resistance line. But again, it does depend on what happens on Wednesday. Which was across actually. As you can see, that's sort of happening. We could not do that though. We could, either print above it or wick, bounce off it, and then you've slightly got some sort of, expanding triangle thing going on. I think you have to come from a higher end, which I suppose we are coming from. if we form it, we are coming from this higher end, kind of doing this, it would then allow us to come upwards. But again, that does depend on what happens on Wednesday. So it's quite hard to say. Anyway, so, we are in a tough scenario for there to be negative information, or data, sorry, if it does come out. You can see, really respecting this line here. Higher time frame, probably, I think it was a daily order block somewhere. Okay, well, there was an order block here somewhere. It was probably down here, probably on the daily. I think it was a daily anyway. Where are we? There we are. Yeah, here it is. So it was a daily order block here. And then obviously we respected it. Lower time frame, you can see really nicely bouncing off it here. And then coming upwards. So if we had really negative news and we, start to break down, I think 3,582, this kind of midpoint area, and the top line 3,650, really nicely respecting it within this area. So I think anything within this area would be where we would kind of sit, between, if we had negative news coming down. Could have a wick towards 3,550 just to kind of have the super negative news wicking down. But I think in general, I think as I was talking about really low wicks and printing below them to reverse, I think, if we're kind of slowly coming upwards, Wednesday time breaking down, I think we could have really big negativity, printing just below 3,600 and then reversing, coming back upwards, probably bouncing off somewhere in this range. So I think we still stay within this rough range for Ethereum. But again, if we have positive news, then we're just gonna absolutely rocket upwards. Continuing upwards, wherever we may be, kind of coming towards this top trend line which we've had for ages, probably using it as resistance as we come upwards, and then obviously having this rough breaker block we've had for an absolute eternity now, probably on the daily time frame back here, wherever it was. And yeah, it's having a rough time, I suppose. But again, as I said with Bitcoin, it's really hard to say what's going on, especially when there's news coming out during the week. People are probably going to try and front run the news, whether it be positive or negative, and then the news will come out, and then that will determine the direction. So it's going to be hard to trade. I mean, I would probably argue for anything right now in general. A lot of people, it's risky and advise against trading against the news, depending on what's going to happen. And trading before then, unless you trade, intraday and trade based on the trend within the day and not, over the week or daily time frame. If you trade on the hour, then I would, that's fine. We are probably in a positive trend right now. You could probably long and get out at 3,722. You could do something like that, but I would advise against trading on a higher time frame. Based on a movement which might bring us towards 3,800 or wherever you may decide to go to, because of the fact of what's happening during the middle of the week. It's hard to say what's going to happen. I'd rather wait till the midpoint of the week, Wednesday, and see what's happening then, and then trade based off that, or wait till the aftermath. I'd rather wait till the aftermath, maybe wait for a retractment, depending on if it's a bullish or bearish movement. I'd rather, if it's really positive and we come all the way up to here, 3,800, wick all the way up to here, whoopie-doo, I would wait for the retractment and probably short towards maybe 3,725. And, I'd rather trade off that, because it is hard to say. Unless you're really confident and you're really active and you know exactly what the news is going to be, if you somehow figure that out, then obviously trade that. But it's going to be rough to say. When we go towards the CRONOS coins, I think it'd be a bit easier to trade them, because they might not directly interact, depending on how big they are, directly interact with what the market's doing. As I've already talked about, especially with beer, we pumped one for Bitcoin, we pumped 3 times for beer. So something like that. But again, I'm gonna move on now. I've kind of given my opinions. Obviously, I should probably have the price points on the screen. So what did I say though? So Saturday we were here. I think I talked about this range. Obviously now it does seem like we're coming down a really obvious trend line down right here as we come along for Ethereum. It does seem like we have a consistent area here. This isn't good though. This is not very good in the slightest, because obviously you could consider this I believe a descending triangle. If I come along to handy dandy chart patterns, long live Sol, I hope so. Look, you can see the same triangle coming from a high point downwards, having a consistent bottom and having a lower highs. Exactly what we're doing right now. So if we continue this trend, it would be negative news. But again, once again, if Wednesday is really positive, we're going to break this trend. Chart patterns never, 100% happen, all the time and whatnot. It is, to be fair, I'm surprised we actually broke out of that trend. Seeing, Bitcoin's been kind of doing its thing in the same range we were already in. Then Ethereum fell and Solana fell, so interesting how the market moves, I suppose. But I didn't expect us to fall below that. To be fair though, we were probably coming to our next point of our lowness, which we actually came to here. Probably looking on the lower time frames, you probably find something where we printed below it. Yeah, you can see, consistent here, whatever, consistent price point we had, printing below it, reversing, coming to it, bouncing off it, and then having this kind of movement here. But anyway, go back to the high time frame now. But yeah, normal times where you come to, below a consistent price point, you normally reverse. Came back to it, obviously reversed again. But, if it happens 3 times, whatever, 3 times a pattern, whatever, if we bounce, come down, I believe that would then cause us to have 1, 2, 3, bouncing off it again, coming down. If we kind of predict the width of it. Oh, let me draw this properly. So I'm going to try and predict the width of the movement. If we shimmy that along like that, coming, bouncing, and then roughly coming towards about the morning of Tuesday, coming up again, and then coming down towards about the morning of Wednesday. So it would be the time when the news comes out. So it's a rough scenario. Again, as I've said with Ethereum and Bitcoin, if we're kind of in this descending triangle, where in any other scenario where we didn't have news coming out and we were just solely looking at patterns, I'd be looking to short Solana. Obviously not financial advice. Again, chart patterns never happen 100% of the time, as does anything else. But you see, we're forming this chart pattern. You can see we're roughly maybe coming towards it occurring in the middle of Wednesday, when news may or may not be coming out, depending on what time zone you're in or time frame. So it's rough. It is rough to say exactly where we're going to be coming to. But I do think it is again dependent on what happens with the news and what comes out. If we do, follow through with this, it would just be a coincidence if it did so happen to be negative news on the time that this is supposed to happen, and then would come down. But again, I can't really say this. I'm going to leave it there, the trend lines, but I'm not going to wager on a chart pattern. I'm going to give my opinions on where we go if it is positive news or negative news, because that's all I can really do right now. So we have a bottom trend line, really well respected, twice here, and then obviously breaking through it, about $155. Probably, coming down towards there, breaking out of this trend line, coming down. Again, also having this 156. I would like to say we'd print below it and then use it as up, a reversal as upwards. But again, if it's really negative news, it would be coming down towards 155. If it is positive, so I'm going to draw a line down, actually. It would probably come towards it down here. Let me do... I'll do arrows up or down, actually. I'll probably do this instead. Oh, it makes bigger. Really? Is that it? Oh, I have to... What? Okay, fine. I'm not going to do that then. So, coming down to... Oh, sorry, it's green. I should probably make it red, but I don't care. So, it'd probably come to that line if we were positive. I think we break above this line, probably coming towards, like, upwards here, midpoint, maybe, of here. Probably something like this. Obviously, I think this is... We could break, below it, though, to be fair. Seeing this line, though, I don't know exactly why this line's there. Obviously, probably some sort of reason. But we did wick to it, so it could be as low as there, depending on how negative it is. So I'm going to draw worst-case scenario. So these lines are roughly, if you kind of squint, they're roughly similar size of height here and there. So either the 165, the bottom of this area, breaking up, towards it, or coming down towards 153, 155 area for Solana. Sorry, that's the best I can do, because we have news. I don't want to say we're going to go a certain direction, but we do have the chart pattern. If, for some reason news doesn't affect us, then, hey, whatever. What did I say? I said we would probably come down. I think I did anyway. Obviously wicking towards this midpoint, which is very good. Obviously we had these different lines kind of coming up to here. Obviously this was a speculative. I remember drawing this because I wanted to see where we'd roughly come to, because I wanted to see different possible higher up lines. I wanted to speculate, obviously, if we did continue to go upwards, which I didn't think we were going to do, that we would come up. Obviously, we had kind of our rough scenario at the top here. We had our get a pen out. Kind of this, rough, kind of bringing us down, bouncing off a rough area up here, and then kind of bringing it down now, obviously, because we reversed towards being negative, down like this, probably the start of it being here. Obviously, you can see coming down. Here we go. So we're probably now continuing this trend line, which is kind of now really just falling. We also kind of have or had that there. Not really a good order block there. I can't really draw that. But, trying to find the next point we come to, you can see we kind of bounced off this twice here, which is nice. So 165, roughly. 164, 100, what am I saying? 200, 624.5. Problem is, whenever I couple different coins quite fast, especially Solana, 150, this, that, the other, it just sometimes muddles with what I'm saying. But back to it. To 624.5. Okay. Does seem like we also bounced off this. I'm trying to find anything else which was maybe consistent. Doesn't really seem like it. Maybe daily trend line anywhere. Not exactly. We had this really nicely consistent price thing here. You can see kind of boom, boom, boom. Really came far from it and then coming down again. Obviously, it does depend. Really having a nice range at the top, though. Starting from about here. Actually, to be fair, it's probably an order block, isn't it? Roughly. You can see really respecting that there. Obviously, coming back to it. Obviously, now nearly bouncing off the top of it here. So we do have a nice support point, which just so happens to roughly be this high point up here. So probably bouncing off 163.3. 163. Again, I did it again. 633.3. But I do think 625 is our line of direct support to come down. Again, I always have to say this though. Actually, we do also have divergence from here. If I can go to divergence charts to show where we are coming from, we can see that this divergence, we have a higher low, and then I suppose you could say lower lows on the indicator, whatever. So that is on the bottom. That is a hidden bullish. So that is a continuation of our trend. Well, on the daily anyway, our trend is bullish. You can see we have higher lows and consistently doing that. Obviously, it's it's probably better to look at it on the daily. We haven't printed below as we come. So this was, if I circle them, we have this low, this low, this low, this low. We haven't come below 593, so we're still in a bullish trend on the daily anyway for BNB. So we haven't broken our bull trend, and if we have, obviously on the 4 hour, it is the same thing. It might look a bit rougher, as you can see, wicking down and printing here. We could probably shimmy it though, to be fair, but I'm not going to do that. But we are still technically in our bullish trend as we come upwards. We haven't broken below any of these. So if this is a bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence, our trend is still technically bullish, as we still haven't printed below any of these lows as we continue to go upwards. So we're still in a bullish trend. If this is hidden bullish, it is a continuation of the trend. Trend's bullish, we are continue to go upwards. So I do think we are going to, hopefully not print exactly below. And like I said, if we respect this high point at 633, sorry, or even maybe at 624, we haven't printed, but technically don't print below it, we would still be in a bullish trend and probably continue to go upwards for BNB. But if we have really negative news, especially where we are right now, we might have a rough time. But again, I mean, we are kind of, doing this, having a rough thing, maybe having a small little curvature downwards, bouncing off here, maybe starting to form a bit of a higher thing, starting to reverse based on the fact that we're still in a bullish trend, starting to come upwards again. Again, we are pretty heavily oversold on the momentum anyway, coming upwards now. VOP's coming upwards. we're starting to arc again, which is nice for in our market cipher. Money flow isn't quite coming up, but that will start to change as momentum and VOP change as well as our as everything, I suppose. So we are we're doing well. Obviously coming from where we were, we're not doing too well, but I do think we'll start to come upwards again for BNB anyway. As long as we stay on our bullish trend. Again, what I was about to say was, if we have supreme negativity on Wednesday or whenever the data comes out and whatnot, then we'd break our trend and then actually start to put in probably lower lows and really just be rough for BNB. If I go back to the day though, you'll see it a bit better. Obviously high. It depends how low we'd come though. If we're already down here, it depends how much we're able to fall. I mean, in a couple days or within a day, we're able to fall about 4%. So if we're near the bottom, it depends. This order block's going to be huge anyway, so we might not break. I still think we're in a bullish trend. I still think we have positivity over the next coming days. I do think we have potential to come upwards. Again, especially in the 4 hour. I think over the next couple of 4 hours, maybe towards the morning or later today, morning Tuesday, we might start to come upwards again for Binance Coin, BNB. I'm not supposed to say that, sorry, BNB. I mean, it'd be nice to find like a trend, so bounce, broke below, probably using it as resistance. Oops. See, bounce, broke below. Probably if you come back up to it, bouncing off it towards 666, sorry. I just think we're going to be coming upwards soon. But again, like I said, news comes out, negativity, terrible. If it is really positive news though, I'm probably coming back up towards 690, this area up here. Having really positive movements upwards. I'm trying to see if there's anything like some sort of order block. I don't think there is here. But again, no harm in testing it. See, maybe bouncing off it there, here. Probably some sort of resistance, roughly in the 690 range, which, like I said just then, probably coming up towards there. Probably, if it is positive, during Wednesday, doing our thing, whatever, coming upwards, probably bouncing off it, and then starting to use this trend as our support, and then probably forming something else as bullish, and then moving on. But yeah, I do need to move on CRONOS, to be fair. So I'm going to move on now. Anyway. Charts are amazing, and in detail, never understood them, but you explain it well. What's happening? I do appreciate that. Thank you. I hope I can. I mean, I try to give it, because a lot of people, they do like Bollinger Bands and then this and the other, and they have a bunch of like charts. And obviously, if you make something look really complicated, people, and if you make something look really complicated, but you know how to read through the dirt on your charts, to other people who don't know how to, and this is the thing, I look at other people, I know how to draw my charts in my way, but I look at someone else's charts, and they'll have a complete mess of a chart, and I go, I don't know what I'm looking at. It looks like a mess, but they know how to read their chart, which is fair enough. But then people watching them go, oh my god, this is really complicated. This guy makes it look so complicated, but he reads it so well. I can't believe it. This guy, I'm going to subscribe. I don't want to do that, Obviously, to be fair, after a long period of time, my Bitcoin chart does start to look a bit messy. And, if I zoom out, it does, look a bit messy, to be fair. But I try and keep it as simple as I can, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to, make it so complicated that only I can read it, so that you have to read my charts. I'd hope to think if you saw a screenshot of this, in this area, you'd roughly kind of understand. Obviously, based off the pen, you kind of understand what I'm trying to get at. I don't want to make it too complicated. So, I mean, thank you. I appreciate the comment. Anyway, so I'm actually going to move on to the CRONOS coins now. Moving on to probably something I haven't looked at in a while. Is it going to be on here? I don't think so. Is it? Oh, it is here. Well, it's here anyway on this area. However, we did draw charts on. We did draw our charts on this debt screener chart price, aggregator anyway. So I'm gonna have to use this. Actually, I don't think it was USDT. It was this one, wasn't it? Okay, I don't know what our charts. Okay, it's probably gonna look a mess. Okay, so we had our range. I reckon we came upwards. Obviously, this one on top of it. But we did come roughly towards the line of area. I don't know why I had it up here. But we had our range. We came up. Obviously, unfortunately, bouncing off this order block. Really good order block, actually. And then, obviously, actually surging above it, which is nice. Coming to roughly where the line suggested we were supposed to come to, which is nice. But then we started to really break down. This order block was just rough. You can see, really respecting it here, using resistance here, surge above, and I always talk about this every single chart. If you don't come back to test the midpoint, you're never going to use it as a support point or resistance point, depending on what direction it is going in. But you could. I always talk about on Bitcoin as well. It happens with Bitcoin. If you don't come back, I'll draw it over here. So this is the order block. This is the midpoint. If you don't come, actually, let me make it a bit better. Actually, it's rough. It's rough. Whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're down here, this is really trash, isn't it? If you surge upwards and you do this and you just completely just do this, whatever, you're just going to come back down. You need to do this. That is what you need to do. In the rough sense, not in a direct, in a rough sense, you need to kind of do this. You need to come back to the midpoint immediately. Not immediately, but you need to come back to it very soon after breaking above to test its support so you actually use it. That's how order blocks work. So if you don't do that on the charts, you're never going to be using it as support. Lo and behold, we've done this so many times with this specific order block. We just surge upwards. We don't really. This one, to be fair, was good. Came up, boom, did this, and then, which was good, we actually did use it as support. We came up, had a bit of difficulty, came up, big surge, tested back here as support, very nice, and then we actually started to use it as our support point, especially here. But again, very unfortunate. But then, what do you see here? We used the bottom of it as support as well. So over this period, we were using it as support. Obviously, over here being on the lower end. But then, unfortunately, we just surged below. And importantly as well, came below, tested it, and then we just started to use it as resistance. And then over here, it was nothing. We never tested it, came right below. So now we're just probably using resistance again. Really rough for Crow. Anyway, we have this order block, which is good. Obviously, kind of surging below it. Obviously, having our double bottom, which is nice. Really nice double bottom there, actually. Really good reverse. Really nice, actually. It's unfortunate I didn't catch this or didn't look at it. You can see, after reversing from this, really nice moving upwards. But let's just have a look at where we are right now. Let's not, ponder on the history of it. Margot on ETH. I will look at Margot. I think we've already looked at it on the charts. I will go back to it because I had big charts on it, actually. I will look at that in a minute after we look at these coins. So going back to where we are right now. Again, I think we should be in this range, rough range. We've been in for a good old time now. Obviously, kind of just coming down right now. I think this is actually a descending little thingy, whatever the hell, coming down now, starting from about roughly here, coming down. We could come to as low as here. It is very possible. I think I don't even know if it's a sharp band, to be fair. I think it is. I think it's like a descending, whatever. Hold on. We might have a bullish falling wedge here. Yeah, you know what? I need to spend even just looking at the chart patterns because I use them all the time, but I never always remember them, and I don't want to get something wrong. So we might have. You know what? I'm gonna delete it. It's not really looking very accurate in terms of this chart pattern. Let me shimmy this up a bit. We kind of bounce off it here, kind of coming up to it here. It's all right, I guess. It's not really doing anything, but we could come up. We could be coming up right now, but I think we would be bouncing off the midpoint here and then coming down again. So I don't really think it's anything, really super positive. It would be like a move up probably. I'd hope it'd be bullish. If you kind of look at where we are right now, you could argue there's some sort of. I don't want to argue that actually. I don't like that. I'd want to say that there's potential to be positive, but again, you could have argued it here, but we broke below it. So I do still think we're in a negative trend for Crove Knife. So it could be the scenario that we come upwards, but we just continue to come downwards. Coming from this position, we could be breaking out right now, or not breaking out per se, but coming upwards to the high point. To the 6828 for Crow of Knife, and then coming down again. I still think we're in a negative trend, coming down. You'd have to look at the higher time frame to really see what trend we're in, and we are technically in a bullish trend. I do still think we can come to the as we still have the potential to come towards our lower end. So I suppose on the daily and the 4 hour, these line up pretty nicely in terms of what it recommends us to be doing, coming towards roughly the midpoint of this area. But on the daily, it says to us we should be coming towards about 62, and then coming upwards again. But we're on a good trend, and it does seem like this order block is the midpoint. I want to say this is a good trend, but again, this is really bad on the grand scheme of things. You know, if you come from the high point, coming down, I'm sorry, this is really messy. This is really, really bad. You know, it just, you know, this is a bearish flag, a bear flag, or I don't say bearish flag. You can see if I go to here, bear flag, it says bearish flag there. It says bear flag pattern. You can see coming from a high point, coming down, forming these your higher highs and higher lows. Eventually, you're going to be bouncing out of this. So you can see if we count how many bounces we've done, you know, 1, 2, probably coming to this third one now, coming upwards, coming down. Let's suggest it comes from about there. It brings us down a rough amount. Will this really happen all the way down there? I don't believe so. I don't believe we've come that far below. Maybe to this order block, you know, here. I don't think we'd fall all the way to our, you know, I mean, hey, who knows? It's possible. But again, I think chart patterns, it's directional. It's not really positional. I think order blocks and whatnot. I think, you know, we come down to, you know, roughly where I drew towards these support points down here, probably towards 4809 or 4222. But anyway. That's all right, Peter. Good nights. This is the problem. I swear to God that whatever time I do it, it seems like someone's going to bed. It is rough though, but it's unfortunate when you have a, you know, videos on streams you can go to anybody around the world. It is unfortunate. It might be the morning or night time, which we, you know, people say on their streams anyway. But anyway, good night. Have a great sleep. But anyway, coming back to this, you can see I think we come towards, you know, down here. I don't think we come as low as this. Hey, it's possible. But I think this is just too negative. I mean, it could be as. I think it needs to be a bit more of a consecutive move down, which I think is roughly about this, which brings us towards this bottom point anyway. If we shimmy it along anyway, it'd have to be up here. I don't think we come as low as there. I think it's about 4174, but I think some negativity could be, you know, in potential. And if you look at the general thing, it's not following the market pretty much in the slightest. So I do think it is, thankfully, you can pay attention to it more so on its price action rather than news. Again, I do think Wednesday is going to have an effect on it, but I think in general, it'll move how the market moves, or it'll move not as so when the market moves. I think it's going to move how it needs to, which is going to be down towards its lower end. So you could short probably when we come towards, you know, 61.49, whatever, shorting towards maybe 48.48, you know, 20% profit, something like that. I just think we come down soon for Grove Knife. I'm going to move on now though. What was the next point actually? We broke 70k. Are we printed above it though? I hope so. What else on? I could probably do Wolf Swap or Moon. Is it Moonflow? Yeah. I think this was rough because I think we had a negative. Yeah, we did. So this was rough. So we had this expanding thing. I can't remember what it's called. Bearish expanding triangle. Yeah, you can see. So coming from the low point, bearish expanding triangle. Eventually formed it. I don't know why this line's there. Eventually formed it here. You see, you know, bounce, coming to it there, coming down. Obviously, it is quite a long thing, but we did come down to, you know, what was nice, as low as this low point here, bouncing. Now bouncing off this high point which we had already. Seems like we're kind of in this trend. Obviously, it seems like we have our midpoint here. So the 0.5 area is about there. Shimmy this, there we go. So it seems like this line was 0.68, 618 was respected quite nicely as a midpoint. So I draw that there we go. So it seems like we have a midpoint, higher point, lower point here. So, you know, coming down, up, could be forming, you know, it is higher lows. So as long as we don't break out of it, we are, you know, in a bullish trend now. So probably, let me delete this actually. You know, bounce, probably breaking up. This is a it isn't a expanding triangle, but it is a point of explosion, whatever you want to call it. So we either break up or break down depending on what happens. I don't think this happens. Again, it's not really following the market per se, so I think this is its own thing. So I guess this is really just a a situation of a personal situation for Moonflow. I do think this is the high point over here. So I think if we print above it, about 5.4, we print above it roughly there, it will reverse us, bring us down towards 4.861, and then coming upwards, having these, you know, higher scenarios, and then kind of having a tight squeeze towards, you know, where we might go to next for Moonflow. I'm trying to see if there's any like order blocks or anything which I have either missed or has newly printed. I don't believe so. I don't think we have anything too, you know, concerning for this. You can see this was the high point. We printed above it, came down. We could maybe print above. I think this is we formed a new high point here. I do talk about these often. When you have these high points, when you wick all the way high, all the way up, and then come to a specific price point, and then come all the way back down. When you slightly print above these, it will reverse you 9 times out of 10. But anyway, I think, you know, we're in a bullish trend. You know, coming upwards for Moon, decently positive. If I go to the daily, let's see what the general trend is, though. I mean, it is positive. I'm trying to look for anything of consistency. We do have another trend line here, though. Not a trend line, a price point there, which is nice. It's hard to say, though. It's hard to say if we're gonna. I'm trying to see if there's anything considerable which tells us if we're going to be breaking up or breaking down. I think we'll have to see what the market does in the moment. But as of now, I think we're just in this bull trend. So if you wanted to trade, you could. Obviously, I think coming up to about a 5% potential move upwards again, coming then down to a 9.7, and then tightening up here. I'd hope it'd break up, but it's not an expanding triangle where it would, you know, exactly break upwards to the high point. So I guess it depends. But this is what we have so far for Moon. So I'm going to move on now, though, to I don't know what other coins there are. I think there was one more suggested, though. Let me have a look. Also, good afternoon to everyone. I've seen people saying good afternoon. Raza, good afternoon to you, hopefully. I don't know if you're still here. Hello to you. Again, I'm going to preface this as well. We're coming towards an hour of the stream. Also, we had the intro. So I could probably do a coin or two if you have any suggestions, anybody. So do say so in the chat. Oh yeah, Margot, I was supposed to do that. Yeah, true. Let me go to that actually. I think I drew. I mean, there's some coins which actually have the same name. I believe it is this anyway. Margot, yes, true. Which one did I draw? Or was it? Oh, I was thinking of Trump. Okay, I'll do cheer on this. I think this is the one because there's Trump and then there's Margot as well. I do. You've reminded me of TA I've already done. I want to see how well it happened. We did well. We did really well. Good. I'm glad it's happened. We did wick down to there. We actually came to the line I expected us to come to, which is crazy. We did really well with this, actually. Yeah, I'll look at Margaret. Sorry, I've gone off topic. We did really well for this, which I'm glad. Obviously, doing TA, I think we did it about Monday, 10 o'clock, which was roughly when we started. Okay, this was a cross. I don't know why that was a cross. We did it about 10 o'clock Monday. Obviously, coming from the bouncing off. We do this all the time. When you're in this trend, we bounced off this and then came down. Coming, you know, as low as our blue line, which I did explain. But, you know, this is actually a really good trade, actually. My safety trade was towards this line here. But you can see we bounced off here. This was a consistent price point. We so slightly printed below, reversing us then. And then reversing us into a bull trend, which we're in right now, coming upwards. For Marga, you know, coming on. So this was a really nice trade. I think I was actually quite confident in this as I was talking about it. No really high or low consistency anywhere there. Yeah, I'm not gonna do TR on it though. I just wanted to show the result on it. But Marga, we'll look at Marga now and have a little look at the situation. So, oops, we've kind of got this going on. Got a really consistent high point actually. This is actually really interesting. So I do talk about this all the time. When you slightly print above it, you reverse. But again, we didn't have too much room to reverse from anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it does like we don't have an expanding triangle, but we are in a rough range here. I do want to draw a line here as well. From there, obviously we have the high points as there. So we have this kind of area down here. I probably should do a rectangle, to be fair. from about here to here, I'd argue. That kind of range, roughly. So we've got a range down here of some sort of support, which is nice. What is also interesting as well is we had our really low point. Whoops. Had a really low point here. Really low point. Printing below it, we reverse now. Again, I'm trying to incorporate this in, new things into my stream, into my streams anyway. And this was an interesting one actually. This was our low point. Printing below it. Obviously, we were kind of grabbing and we were kind of in a downtrend. But then we printed below a low point, and then we actually reversed us now into an uptrend. Obviously, this printing above here, but I think this is just a high. And then, I got on the ETH, the red hat one. Right, okay. Oh, that's not it. Is it actually the one? Is it this one? I got the red hat logo. Is it? Is it this one, Margo UCC? Is it actually this one? Is it the one I was already talking about? Oh, I thought it was the other one. Right. Oh. Yeah, okay, well, I did see on this one. I think it's this one, right? This one's got the red hat logo. This is the problem. There's like one Trump coin, but it's Margo. And then there's a Margo coin, which is Margo. This all the time. But anyway, okay. I'm glad. Thank you, clear up. Actually, interestingly, we can actually talk about what I talked about then. Right. No. What? Not this one either. Okay, so it's not this one either. Right. Okay. Let's find the other coin then. Okay. Let me look. Okay. Let me go on. Let me look at just Margo and then see all the other ones. Oh, this one. Right, okay. So we found this one. Okay, has it got a link to the charts? I don't think so. It's not the one I was just on, was it? It's not, right? Right. Okay, so it's not this one. It's this one. So, how can I find the chart on this one? Is it not that big? So it's not on the market. Let me check on that screen. Maybe it's on there as well. Okay, here we go. Trump wave. Okay, so it's probably this one, right? 2, 3, 4, 2. Yeah, that's basically it, right? 2, 3, 4, 2. Oops. Move the whole screen then. 2, 3. Yes, is this one right? I believe so. Yes, right. There's another one actually. Let's make sure there. That's one, right? Perfect. 2, 3, 6, 3. Alright, well, I'll just do this one. I think this is the one, right? Okay, finally found it. Okay, so, let me have a look. So I'll probably do the 4 hour. Just to, Anyway. So we've got the order block here. Very nice one. So a nice point of resistance there, which we found. Seems like there's a support point roughly around here. In this kind of area. You see bouncing off here. A low point as a low point. We're kind of just in this big old downtrend here. You can see bounce. Actually coming back up now. Potential of a change, which makes sense actually. If I go to the daily, we'll probably see it actually. No, we don't. We do actually. So as I was going on to the fact of coming to a low point and then printing below it and reversing, we slightly have that. You can see low point, having difficulty getting anywhere below it. Printing below it and now reversing up to a potential high point now. So it looks like we might be reversing, bouncing off towards the lower end of this trend line, which you normally do when you break out of a trend. Whoops. Right, show me that. There we go. I'll get that accurate. Okay, so bounce. Probably doing this and then coming upwards, I would say. Potential of difficulty about. I would say about here, just because it's a came to it here, came to it here, came to it here. Potential of difficulty there depends on how bullish we become though. But I think normally when you have this sort of bounce and you go off a certain area, you bounce and then break above it. So a potential move upwards. or I think move downwards and then move upwards for Marga. For this one, Marga anyway. Coming towards it anyway. So you could, I want to argue that there's some sort of like trend line here. Maybe not coming as low as this line, but normally you come towards the trend line anyway. So potential, I want to say it comes to the trend line, which looks like it might be towards actually the support point instead, to be fair, depending how long this takes. This is a 4 hour. So, you know, this took a couple days or a couple of hours. I can't shimmy things, can I? Right, let me just experiment. Down towards here. Okay, it could come towards the support point down here. It could not though, because this might have formed a now, when it reversed, forming a new trend line. So it might not come as low as this. I'm going to be safe than sorry, and suggest to. But to be fair, with this coin, you're not going to be long and short, or you're going to be buying. So you're not going to be stopped out, which is good. Which means you can buy it and have risk of it coming down further. So I'm going to be safe than sorry and suggest it comes to here, and then has this trend line maybe coming towards doing something like this instead. And we're now slightly in, having the reversal is now being in a sort of bullish trend. You have to be careful though, because coming from this high point, if we start to form some sort of flag, depending on what it does depend on what we do right now. If we come below this, because if we start to have some sort of flag thing going on, we could really dump. Could really just come down to our previous low point. So it would have to be wary here. It depends on what we do. It depends if we come below this. It really does depend. I wouldn't want to form like a bear flag and really just absolutely dump. But I do think we are in a bull trend nonetheless. So you could trade within the trend before it dumps. So even if we do form a bear flag, the returns you're going to be getting, since this is lower price, the cap is slightly smaller as well, so there's potential of movement. 50% here and there. You could have high movements if you want to trade it faster within the lower time frames before we dump. If we do, again, it hasn't broken the $150 million significant point, which if you ever watch Mike stream and he does talk about it, you'll know is a considerable market cap value, which allows for coins to actually exceed really high values. So if we don't exceed that, it will probably dump, and then would probably follow through with this sort of negative movement from the bear flag. Would we fall as low as this? Well, we could do. It is quite convenient that it does line up pretty much perfectly. Actually, if I shimmy this a bit more, it does line up pretty perfectly with this support point rough area down here. So there's potential. So what I would advise, not financial advice, what I would advise myself to do, not financial advice, is trade within the trend. Trade within this movement of this bull trend. Probably buy down at 22 and then wait for it to come towards 30 and a half, whatever, this kind of area, and then sell and then just try and get a return within this trend. But I'd be careful, because if we do this and we bounce roughly off this area, but we come towards 3186 or whatever, I'd be worried. If we don't do that though, and we bounce off the order block, I wouldn't be as worried, because then we're not going to be in a bear flag, and then we're not going to have the potential of a really negative movement downwards. But again, I'd be watching the I'd really be watching. Again, to be fair, this isn't actually an order block. It's just a general area of support or resistance. You can see bouncing off of there, bouncing off of here. So we might surpass it. We might easily surpass it and start using it as support, whatever. But again, like I said, if we, buying at 22, if we come up to 32, 31, wherever this may be, this rough area, I'd get out. Maybe, obviously, you can't short it. Maybe waiting for it to come down towards, 24, and then buying again, and then getting out, and then I'd leave it, because I'd want to be careful for it to not form a bear flag and dump. Obviously, chart patterns never happen 100% of the time. Do bear that in mind. But this is just my opinion, my professional opinion, professional, not so professional opinion, whatever you want to call me. So good luck though, as Mike has said. I think there is potential for a good return, especially if it does form a bear flag. There's potential for 50%, and then Actually, it is parallel, so it should be another 50%. Yeah, rough. So there's potential for 2 50% returns, and then get out. So good luck. It depends if you're holding this. If you're holding this, I wouldn't sell right now because we're on the lower end. So good luck. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a full professional who knows everything 100% of the time. Oops, I just hit my mic. I don't have a crystal ball or anything. I can't tell you the future. And again, I always preface this as well with lower market cap coins. This isn't as low, but it's lower nonetheless. They can break out of trends really easily. A smaller amount of value input can lead to a greater output on these lower cap coins, which could break us out of this bull trend, break us out of this, that, the other, and then this wouldn't necessarily happen. So again, be careful of that. This is my opinion, and good luck. I think this is good potential for good returns. There is good potential, I suppose. That's best I'll leave it at. So no vessel, yeah. So good luck. But other than, I think we might start to end it soon because we are roughly streaming for about an hour and 13. Obviously we had the intro, but about an hour stream. So I want to keep it a bit shorter. So thank you all of you for joining. I really do appreciate it. If you thought the tier was good, if you want to support us, scroll down, follow, subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. Obviously depending where you are, you do certain things. If you are also inclined and thought this guy's brilliant, this guy's great, I really do agree with him. There's an order block here actually. I didn't even realize. Hold on, I'm not done. Really nice order block here. Might not form a bear flag. It might actually change my opinion. We might not form a bear flag. We might actually just be in a bull trend. We could be in a really sharp bull trend if we follow this order block. Okay, I might retract the bear flag statement. So just trade the trend. All I'm gonna advise right now. I can screenshot this. Obviously, scroll to the description. You'll find the TG wink wink. Go to the trading area. If you go to the trading area, you ask, can you do a review on this coin? Can you do TA? I'll send you a screenshot of the chart. If you want this chart or any of my other charts with price data or price points anyway, go to the area, ask for the coin. I'll screenshot it, and yeah. So maybe less likely to form a bear flag as I've seen this order block. So potential for it to just be a normal bull trend and actually exceed higher and come towards this point up here. So Reza, I'm gonna retract what I just said and then suggest more of a bull trend. But anyway, just trade the trend. There's a lot of potential here. Good luck. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you all being here. Again, come to the TG, ask for charts, ask for questions about indicators I use or anything. We actually do have a reimagined version of MarketCypher, which is this version, which is Crypto Warehouse's version. We also have MarketCypher A, which I don't use as much. Some significance as well, which I haven't used lately. I'm trying to keep it a bit more basic as well. But again, this is amazing. You can see here, really good here. These support points and resistance points are always great. I always use them on personal stuff as well. So you see here, we do respect these often. But again, ask for the charts or ask for anything. Especially these indicators. I do use MarketCypher. Again, like I said, I try to keep it more basic in some of these streams to see if I can still do good TA and keep it basic for people. Not basic, but keep it simplified so people can, so it can be easy for people to understand, I suppose, if you're coming into it or not. I think a simple chart is a good chart, something which isn't too messy. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Drop dead if you've just joined us. Unfortunately, we are just ending, so I'll end it soon. You can scrub back to the start of the stream and watch from there and see what I say. Brett, I think, to be fair, I think I've already looked at Brett. So I'll show you what I've drawn and maybe... Okay, I didn't want to do that. I can't remember where I looked at it. Oh, I did look at it though. I do remember that. Here we go. Okay, what did I say? I said he's going to come up or come down. It actually pumped. Okay, I'm going to do... No, don't worry. I'm going to do 30 seconds. I'm going to do 30 seconds here, if I can. So, come up. This is good, actually. Roughly, actually. I was going to suggest it was kind of a... I think we're just in this trend. It's not like an expanding triangle or anything. If we go to our chart patterns, we can see it's not exactly like a... it's like a bearish... That's not very good, is it? It's not looking like a potential positive, especially with this resistance line we potentially have, but that's forming from this high point, so I'm going to ignore this. So a potential for a soon move down, especially if we bounce off here, probably come to a point of here. I'm gonna delete these two bets here and kind of all this TA, to be fair. We still have our bet. Oops, I don't know. Okay, there we go. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna minimize Microsoft so we can really look at the chart. Haven't come to this bear trend line or bull trend line in a while anyway. Okay, I want to be as quick as possible. So bear rising wedge coming down, probably dumping soon potentially for this coin. Again, bounce potential very soon, probably coming towards Wednesday. Again, if it follows the market, which it doesn't look like it's doing, I think it'll dump soon. Maybe not as low as there, maybe a midpoint around here. Probably a potential short soon. If you were to get in roughly about just a bit below, probably a stop loss somewhere around here, maybe to the high point about here. This could be good. 1.7, it's not bad. It's not a bad area, but a 15% return nonetheless. If it does come to there, it could come lower, might not. It could invalidate this, obviously not financial advice. Thank you so much for watching. I can screenshot this and send it in the Telegram if you want to look at it. And I will see you in the next streams. Goodbye.